Good morning, everyone. In the previous classes, we have discussed about conducting material, its classification, and its application. So, in today's discussion, we are going to discuss about semiconductor and its type. So, in today's discussion, outlines are what is semiconductor material, what are the types of semiconductor material. We all know what is semiconductor material. A material whose electrical conductivity lies between a conductor and a insulator. The resistivity of a semiconductor material is greater than conductor but less than insulator. That's why we say that its conductivity lies between conductor and an insulator. So, its conductivity, semiconductor conductivity can be increased by, or you can say the semiconductor conductivity can be controlled by adding some impurities, by applying external source, and by changing or increasing the temperature. By adding these three, we can decrease the resistivity of a semiconductor material, thereby increasing its electrical conductivity. So here we can say one of the important property of a semiconductor material is its valence electrons. We all know that a material whose valence electrons is equals to 4 means the valence electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom is equals to 4, then that type of material is known as your semiconductor material. So we consider this as the main characteristics of a semiconductor material. Here you can see silicon is a semiconductor material. At the outermost orbit of an atom, we can see that the valence electrons is equals to 4. So this is the main characteristics of a semiconductor material which has a 4 electrons at the outermost orbit of an atom. So we can say that the material which has 4 valence electrons at the outermost orbit of atom is known as your semiconductor material. For example, silicon, germanium, cadmium telluride, titanium dioxide. So here you can see semiconductor differ from metal in their characteristics property of decreasing electrical resistivity with increasing temperature. We can also say that your semiconductor material is very sensitive to temperature also. So in the next slide, we are going to discuss about the properties of semiconductor material. Again, the important property of semiconductor material is considered is its electrical conductivity. So, electrical conductivity is one of the important property of a semiconductor material. So, the semiconductor material intermediates the level of, or semiconductor material have an intermediate level of its electrical conductivity which lies between your conductor and insulator. As said in the previous slide that its conductivity can be altered. The resistivity value can be changed by applying some impurities, by adding that impurities to that semiconductor material, or by changing or increasing the temperature. So in this way, the electrical conductivity can be changed or can be altered of a semiconductor material. Therefore, it is considered as one of the important property of a semiconductor material. So, next one is that if a semiconductor material reaches 0 Kelvin, we can say that the resistivity of semiconductor material at 0 Kelvin will be equals to the resistivity of an insulator. So we can say that at 0 Kelvin, your semiconductor will act as an insulator because the resistivity of that semiconductor at 0 Kelvin is equals to the resistivity of an insulator. So your next one is your temperature of the semiconductor. As we know that the temperature of a semiconductor material, we can say it is very sensitive to temperature. It means that if there is an increase in temperature, there will be an increase in its conductivity. It is just the opposite of the metal. In case of a metal, if there is an increase in temperature, there will be a decrease in its conductivity. It means if the temperature is increasing, there will be a decrease in the value of the resistance, which affects the electrical conductivity of the metal. But that doesn't happen in case of your semiconductor material. So next one we can say that as we know that in case of a semiconductor material, the gap between your valency band and conduction band is somehow less than your insulator. Therefore, we require a very small amount of external source to allow the electrons which is present in the valency band to jump to the conduction band. So we can say that your conduction band is somehow empty, but almost your valency band is filled. But in case of your 0 Kelvin, we can say that since it will act as an insulator, your conduction band will be completely empty and valency band will be filled, because at 0 Kelvin it acts as an insulator. The gap between the valency band and the conduction band is too high. Next, we can say in case of your semiconductor as compared to your insulator, the gap, the forbidden gap between the conduction band and the valency band is somehow less as compared to your insulator. So this is the properties we generally use to consider for semiconductor material. So next one is your classification of your semiconductor material. So basically all the materials are been classified depending upon the number of valence electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom. So in case of a conductor, a material or a metal or material you can say whose valence electrons in outermost orbit of an atom is less than 4, then that material is considered as a conductor because its valence electrons is less than 4. For example, your copper, your aluminium. So these are the examples of your conducting material whose valence electrons is less than 4. Another one is your next one is your semiconductor. So in case of a semiconductor, we say that the valence electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom is equals to 4. So that type of material whose valence electrons is equals to 4 at the outermost orbit of an atom is considered as a semiconductor material. Examples are your silicon, germanium, titanium dioxide. So these are the examples of the semiconductor material. Another one is your insulator. So in case of an insulator, the valence electrons at the outermost orbit of an atom is greater than 4. So the valence electrons, the material whose valence electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom is greater than 4, then that type of material is considered as your insulator. So based upon the valence electrons, your material is been classified as. So next one is your energy band diagram for conductors, semiconductors and insulator. So here you can see your valency band is there and conduction band is there. So we can say that valency band is an energy band. In case of valency band, there are a valence electrons which is present in the outermost orbit of an atom and they are not free to move as it is bounded to the atom. So valency band is known as a high energy band and conduction band is a band which is placed just above the valency band, and in conduction band there are number of free electrons are there which are allowed to, which are free to move through the material, When the free electrons are free to move through the material, it allows the conduction of electricity, or you can say electricity conductivity takes place in case of your conduction band. And this band gap, which is otherwise known as your forbidden gap, so it is a gap between your conduction band and valency band. So here you can see, in case of a metal, that is your conductor, there is no band gap, there is no forbidden gap, there is no gap between your conduction band and valency band. Both the band are overlapped here each other. So in case of your conductor, in case of your metal, very less amount of external source will be required for the electrons to move from valency band to the conduction band. So whereas in case of the semiconductor material, the electrons which are there in the valency band require somehow more amount of energy as compared to the conductor or a metal to move freely from your valency band to the conduction band. Whereas in case of an insulator, it required a very large or quite large amount of external source for the electrons to jump from the valency band to the conduction band, because the gap between the valency band and the conduction band is too large as compared to your semiconductor. Next one, classification of your semiconductor. Basically, your semiconductor is divided into two types. One is your intrinsic semiconductor, another one is your extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductor means a conductor in its pure state, means there is no addition of impurities is added to that of semiconductor. We are not adding any type of impurities to that type of semiconductor. Therefore, that semiconductor is known as your pure semiconductor or intrinsic semiconductor. This type of semiconductor, pure semiconductor, have very low electrical conductivity at a room temperature of about 25 degree centigrade. At 0 Kelvin, it acts as an insulator because its low conductivity. This type of semiconductor material, intrinsic semiconductor material, have low application in electrical engineering. So these are generally and basically used for heat light sensitive resistor. They have a limited application in electrical engineering. Another one is your extrinsic semiconductor, which is also known as an impure semiconductor. Why it is known as an impure semiconductor? Because some impurities is being added to this type of semiconductor to improve its conductivity, to make it suitable for its application in electrical engineering. So depending upon the type of impurities added to that types of semiconductor material, it is being further classified into two types. One is a p-type semiconductor, another one is your n-type semiconductor. Next one is your n-type semiconductor. So when a pentavalent impurities is added to a impure semiconductor, so that type of semiconductor is known as your n-type semiconductor. Here you can see, when a small amount of pentavalent impurities is added to an impure semiconductor, that is known as your n-type semiconductor. So now what is your pentavalent impurities? That is your arsenic and antimony. So pentavalent impurities means its arsenic and antimony have 5 valency electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom. So here see in the diagram, here we are considering silicon as a semiconductor material, and to this silicon as a semiconductor material we are adding an impurities, that is your that might be your arsenic or antimony, because we are adding a pentavalent impurities to it which has a 5 valency electrons. So here we can see we are adding antimony as a pentavalent impurities to the semiconductor material. Since it has a 5 valency electrons, all the 4 valency electrons forms a covalent bonding with the silicon as a semiconductor material. One of the electrons, or you can say one of the electrons that is left as a free, because it is not able to form a bond with any other semiconductor material, because there is no extra valency electrons in case of a semiconductor material, hence it is left as a free electrons. So we can say that in case of a pentavalent impurities, when we add one antimony atom, we are getting one free electrons. If we are adding more amount of pentavalent impurities, we will get large number of free electrons in case of your n-type semiconductor. So here you can see addition of pentavalent impurities will provide large number of free electrons in a semiconductor material. Next one is your p-type semiconductor material. When we are adding trivalent impurities to a impure semiconductor material, so that type of impure semiconductor material is known as your p-type semiconductor material, and the trivalent impurities added is known as your gallium, and it has a 3 valency electrons at the outermost orbit of an atom. It has a 3 valency electrons at the outermost orbit of an atom. So here you can see in the diagram we are using germanium as a semiconductor material. To this semiconductor material we are adding a trivalent impurities, that is gallium. Since gallium is a trivalent impurity, it has a 3 valency electrons in the outermost orbit of an atom. So we can say that all the 3 valency electrons will form a covalent bond with the semiconductor material. But the fourth one is been left as an empty. So that electrons which is being left as an empty is considered as a hole. It does not find a place to form a bonding. So we can say that addition of a one trivalent impurity, that is gallium, will leave one holes. So if you are adding a number of a trivalent impurities to the semiconductor material, we will get a large number of holes in case of your p-type semiconductor material. So here you can see these trivalent impurities are gallium, and the addition of trivalent impurities provides a large number of holes in case of your p-type semiconductor material. So thank you. The rest will be discussed in next class.